The human who disappeared after saving her returns 5 years later. The alien queen still remembers the sky over Illyra's capital world burned red. Thick clouds of smoke rose from the shattered towers, and the sound of explosions echoed across the city. Queen Lyra watched from the balcony of her palace, her hands gripping the railing tightly. Her heart raced. The enemy fleet had arrived without warning, and even with the palace shields, the attacks had caused damage. Buildings crumbled, and panic filled the streets below. Lyra was young, only 19, but she carried the weight of an entire empire on her shoulders. She had trained for this day, studied diplomacy, and learned strategy, but nothing could prepare her for seeing her people in danger. Alarms blared, and her guards ran in and out of the room, reporting damage and casualties. "Your Highness, we cannot hold the eastern wall much longer," one of the commanders said. His uniform was scorched, and sweat ran down his face. "They have more ships than we expected. We need to evacuate." Lyra shook her head. "No," she said firmly. "I will not leave my people behind. We will survive this. Find me a plan, any plan, to protect the civilians." The commander hesitated. "Your Highness, the palace may fall." "The civilians, enough," Lyra said. She turned sharply and walked toward the council chamber. "We move now. We organize the citizens and the soldiers. I will not see them die while we hide." Outside, the sky was filled with streaks of fire as enemy ships fired plasma beams. Explosions shook the ground. Streets cracked, and buildings collapsed. Civilians ran in terror, carrying whatever they could save. Soldiers struggled to form lines against the invading forces, but they were few and underprepared. The alien empire had enjoyed peace for many years, and now this sudden strike threatened everything. From a side corridor, a human soldier appeared. His name was Alex, and he had been assigned to this world as part of an allied peacekeeping force. He was different from the alien soldiers. Humans were smaller, weaker, and not trained in alien combat tactics. But Alex had something else: courage and instinct. He ran toward the council chamber when he heard the alarm. "Soldier," one of the alien guards shouted, "you cannot enter." "The Queen, I have to help," Alex said simply. His voice was calm, even as the floor shook beneath him. "She needs someone to cover the escape." "I can do it." The guard looked uncertain. Alex's eyes were steady, and there was a quiet confidence about him. He carried a blaster rifle and a small pack, not much for war, but enough to hold the line for a short time. The guard stepped aside. "Be careful, human. If you fail." Alex nodded and ran. He reached the balcony where Lyra had been watching the sky. "Your Highness," he said, bowing quickly. "I am here to help." Lyra studied him. She had seen humans before, but they were rare in the Empire. Most were diplomats or traders, not soldiers. Yet there was something in Alex's eyes that made her trust him immediately. "You are human," she said. "Can you fight?" "I can," Alex said. He did not boast. He simply meant it. "Good," Lyra said. "Then, follow me. We need to evacuate." The palace was already under attack. Walls had been breached in several places. The enemy had small landing crafts that carried troops into the city. Smoke filled the corridors, and the air smelled of burning metal and stone. Lyra led a group of guards and civilians through secret tunnels known only to the royal family. Alex ran beside her, scanning every corner for danger. As they moved, they heard screams from above. A wing of the palace had collapsed, burying dozens of soldiers and servants. Lyra's heart sank, but she kept moving. "Focus on the living," she whispered to herself. Alex noticed the fear in her eyes, but he did not falter. He knew the responsibility was hers, and his role was to protect her. They reached a large chamber where a transport ship had been waiting. The ship could carry only a few dozen people at a time, but it was the best chance to escape the palace before it was destroyed completely. Aliens and humans began to board, while others stayed behind to cover the retreat. Alex volunteered immediately. "I will stay with those who fight," he said. Lyra looked at him, her voice trembling. "No, you cannot. It is too dangerous." "It is my choice," Alex said. "You need to live. Your people need you." Reluctantly, Lyra nodded. She felt a strange pull toward him, a gratitude she could not fully express. The moment was brief, because an explosion rocked the chamber. Debris fell from the ceiling, and the ground shook violently. Alex raised his blaster, firing at enemy drones that had infiltrated the palace. His aim was precise, controlled. He did not panic, even as pieces of the ceiling fell around him. The boarding process continued, and Lyra was among the first to enter the transport. She turned and saw Alex still standing in the chamber, covering the rear. His figure was small against the burning palace, yet he moved with focus and determination. A group of alien soldiers joined him, but the enemy was relentless. Plasma beams cut through the walls, and the smell of ozone filled the air. The transport lifted off just as the chamber collapsed behind them. Lyra pressed her forehead against the glass, watching Alex disappear beneath the rubble. She could not scream. She could not move. She only remembered his face, the calm determination, and the courage it took to stay when everyone else fled. Hours later, after the transport had flown far from the burning capital, Lyra spoke to her advisors. "He saved me," she said quietly. "Without him, I would be dead. He stayed behind to protect us." Remember his name, the advisors nodded. But no one had seen Alex survive. The palace had been destroyed. The city was in ruins. No one knew if any human soldier could have survived such destruction. Yet Lyra did not doubt it. She remembered the human, his bravery, his selflessness. The memory stayed with her, haunting and comforting at the same time. The rest of that day was chaos. Refugees poured into the Allied zones. Soldiers regrouped. Lyra's mind was filled with strategy, but also with worry for Alex. She did not speak of him often, because it was dangerous to reveal her thoughts. The Empire was rebuilding, and enemies were still in the galaxy. She had to appear strong. Yet every night, when she closed her eyes, she saw the human who had saved her. Meanwhile, deep beneath the ruins of the palace, Alex struggled to survive. He crawled through rubble, avoiding fires and collapsing walls. His clothes were torn, and his body ached from burns and cuts. He knew he could not call for help. Communication lines were destroyed. He had to move quietly, carefully, and find a way out. He found a small tunnel that led away from the palace foundations. It was narrow, dark, and dangerous. Debris shifted as he moved, and his hands were scratched and bleeding. Yet he pressed on, driven by instinct and determination. He thought of Queen Lyra, of her safety, and of the lives she was trying to protect. The thought gave him strength. Days passed as Alex navigated the ruined city. He scavenged for food and water, avoided enemy patrols, and tended to his wounds. He did not think of leaving, because leaving meant abandoning the queen. He did not know if she survived, but he had to assume she did. He had promised himself that he would protect her no matter what. Back on the transport, Lyra did not sleep. She studied the galaxy maps, reported to her advisors, and gave orders to secure border worlds. Yet her thoughts returned to Alex constantly. She wondered if he was alive, if he had been captured, if he had survived the initial attack. The questions haunted her, and she kept a small token in her hand, a small trinket he had given her when he first arrived, before the attack. It was a reminder that humans could be brave, that some beings chose action over fear. The first part of this story ends with both of them alive, yet separated by chaos, war, and distance. Alex survives beneath the ruins, determined to keep moving, and Queen Lyra leads her people, remembering the human who risked everything for her life. Their paths are set to cross again, but neither knows when. Only that the bond formed in the moment of danger will last forever. 5 years passed since the day the humans saved Queen Lyra. The memory of that moment never left her, even as the galaxy slowly healed from the war. The Empire rebuilt its cities, repaired the damaged starports, and strengthened defenses along its borders. Lyra became a wiser queen, respected by her people for her courage and fairness. Yet at night, in the quiet of her chambers, she often wondered about Alex. She had no proof he was alive. The palace archives and scouts had found nothing. Some people whispered that he had died in the collapse. But Lyra did not believe it. She had seen the courage in his eyes. She knew he would survive. The queen spent hours reading reports of human activity across the galaxy. Humans were rare visitors in the Empire, and most records came from traders or explorers. Lyra learned about their culture, their habits, and their strengths. Many of her advisors laughed at her curiosity. They are weak, one said. Humans cannot fight like our soldiers. They are fragile and soft. Lyra shook her head. She remembered Alex. He had risked his life for her. Strength is not only in size or weapons, she told them quietly. It is in courage and choices. The human who saved me proved that. We should not judge by appearances. On the other side of the galaxy, Alex had survived. After the palace collapse, he wandered through the ruins for days, searching for any exit. He had suffered burns, broken bones, and exhaustion, but he had not given up. Eventually, he found a small escape tunnel that led to the outer sewers of the city. There, he scavenged supplies and hid from enemy patrols. He knew he could not return to the palace. He did not know if Queen Lyra had survived. Weeks turned into months, and Alex learned to live quietly. He moved from city to city, avoiding major settlements where enemy forces might be looking for survivors. He joined a small crew of humans, traders, and adventurers who were traveling through the galaxy, helping isolated colonies and settlements. Among them were Ben, a former engineer, and Claire, a medic. They quickly noticed Alex's skill in combat and his calm, steady leadership. "You have a gift," Ben said one night as they repaired their ship. "You never panic, even in a fight." "How do you do it?" Alex shrugged. "I focus on what matters. Right now, I need to survive and help others. Nothing else counts." Claire looked at him thoughtfully. "You are different from other humans I know. You are brave. Even when it is dangerous, you keep going." Alex did not answer. He thought about Queen Lyra. He thought about the day he stayed behind to protect her. He wondered if she remembered him, if she survived, if she had rebuilt her life without knowing he had lived. The thought made him keep moving, keep fighting for small victories, keep helping those in need. Over the years, Alex and his crew helped countless worlds. They defended towns from raiders, brought supplies to planets suffering famine, and rescued ships in distress. Word spread quietly of a human who seemed to appear in times of need, acting without fear, saving lives, and disappearing again. Some called him a ghost, others a guardian. Alex never sought credit. He did not care about fame. All that mattered was survival and doing what was right. Back on Alara, Queen Lyra's rule continued. She held meetings with her council, inspected the rebuilt cities, and negotiated with neighboring empires. Yet every time a human ship appeared near her system, she watched with hope, wishing to see Alex again. Her advisors noticed her quiet longing. "Your Highness," one said, "why do you concern yourself with humans? They are rare and mostly irrelevant to our empire." Lyra's eyes were steady. "Irrelevant? One human saved my life. One human showed courage when all else failed. That is reason enough. We will never forget those who act with honor and bravery, no matter their origin." One day, news reached the empire of an unusual human ship moving through the outer systems. Reports claimed the ship had defended a colony from an attack, and the crew had shown remarkable skill. Lyra's heart quickened. She watched the reports carefully. The ship's description, the tactics used, even the small insignia on the hull, everything reminded her of Alex. She sent scouts to investigate quietly. Alex and his crew had just helped a mining colony that was under attack from mercenaries. Alex had coordinated defenses, evacuated civilians, and held the enemy at bay until reinforcements arrived. Ben and Claire were amazed at his leadership. "How do you do it every time?" Claire asked. "You never stop. You never give up." Alex looked at the distant horizon, thinking of a queen on a faraway planet. "I do it because it is right," he said. "Someone has to. Someone has to make sure the innocent are safe." After the battle, as they repaired their ship, Alex received a strange signal. It was from Alara. It was not an official communication, just a faint beacon, almost like a calling. He did not understand why it reached him. He thought about ignoring it, but something deep inside told him to respond. He set a course for the planet, keeping it quiet from his crew until they were closer. Queen Lyra, meanwhile, waited. She had not told anyone about the signal she had sent. She only knew that something deep inside told her to reach out, to see if the human who saved her was alive. She hoped against hope that he was. She remembered his face, the calm determination, the bravery. 5 years had passed, but the memory had not faded. She often wondered if he had forgotten her, if he had moved on. Yet she hoped. As Alex's ship approached Alara, he felt a strange mix of fear and anticipation. He had survived years of war, attacks, and danger, yet the thought of returning to the alien empire made his chest tighten. Would they welcome him? Would the Queen remember him? Would they even trust him after all this time? He did not know. He only knew he could not ignore the call. His crew noticed his tension. "Alex, are you sure about this?" Ben asked. "We do not know what awaits us there." Alex nodded. "I have to see. Someone important is waiting. I cannot ignore it." Claire gave him a small, encouraging smile. "Then, we will face it together. Whatever happens, we stick together." The ship entered Alara's orbit quietly, using old stealth technology to avoid detection. Alex watched the capital world below. It looked different from his memory, even if he had only seen it briefly before. New towers rose from the ruins, and lights sparkled across the rebuilt city. Yet he noticed the palace. It was still standing, more magnificent than before. He felt a strange pull in his chest. He remembered the day he stayed behind. He remembered the Queen's face, the fear and courage in her eyes. Lyra watched from the palace observatory. She had seen the faint signal from Alex's ship approaching. She did not move at first, unsure if her eyes deceived her. Then, she saw the ship descend slowly into orbit, taking a cautious approach. She stepped closer, her hand resting on the rail. She whispered, "Alex, is it really you?" The crew landed near the palace under strict orders from Alex. He stepped out first, scanning the area for any threats. His uniform was worn, marked by years of travel and battles, but he carried himself with the same calm confidence. When Lyra finally saw him in person, her heart skipped a beat. He had returned, alive, real, and standing before her. Alex's eyes met hers. There was recognition, a deep, unspoken understanding that connected them instantly. He remembered the Queen he had saved. She remembered the human who had risked everything for her. The years melted away in that moment, replaced by a shared memory of courage, fear, and loyalty. Yet the Empire had changed. Advisors and soldiers were cautious. Some questioned his arrival. Some suspected him of being a spy or a threat. Alex remained calm. He had faced enemies countless times over the years. He could face suspicion. He could face judgment. He only cared that he was there to protect, and that the Queen would know he had kept his promise. As they walked toward the palace together, Queen Lyra's mind raced. She remembered the day of the attack, the collapse, and the brave human who had stood alone. 5 years had passed, but she had not forgotten. Now he had returned, not for glory, not for reward, but simply because he cared. She understood, deeply, that actions mattered more than words. She knew that the bond formed in that moment of danger was alive again. Alex and Queen Lyra would soon face challenges, suspicion, and danger, but the memory of their first encounter gave them strength. 5 years apart had tested them, but courage and loyalty had endured. The galaxy was still dangerous, but for the first time in years, both felt hope. Alex stepped off the small shuttle and onto the platform outside the palace. The air smelled of ozone and metal, a faint reminder of past battles, but the palace itself stood tall and shining, a symbol of resilience and strength. He scanned the surroundings carefully, noting guards and advisors moving quickly, alert to every sound. Nothing had changed in some ways, yet everything had. The Empire had rebuilt itself, and Queen Lyra ruled with confidence and calm. He felt a strange pull in his chest as he looked at the palace entrance. Memories from 5 years ago came rushing back. The collapse, the fire, the screams, the look on Lyra's face as he stayed behind. He had survived, had spent years helping others, but he had never forgotten that moment. Now, finally, he was here again. Queen Lyra was already waiting. She had positioned herself on a balcony near the main entrance, her eyes scanning the shuttle as it landed. When she saw Alex step out, her heart skipped. It was really him. Alive. Real. She took a step forward, brushing past her guards. Even from a distance, she could see the changes in him. The years had made him stronger, more determined, yet the same calm human she remembered was there. The guards looked uneasy. A human in the palace after so many years was unusual. Some whispered among themselves, casting glances at the queen. "Your Highness," one said, "are you sure this is safe?" "We do not know his intentions." Lyra's voice was firm. "I know him. He saved my life. He is not a threat. He is here to help, and that is enough for me." Alex approached slowly, hands empty and visible, showing no sign of aggression. He bowed slightly to the queen, as he had the first day they met. "Your Highness," he said simply, "I am here, as I promised." Lyra felt a rush of emotion. She remembered the fear she had felt, the gratitude, the helplessness, and now the relief. "Alex," she said softly, I thought you were gone. I never forgot you." He met her gaze steadily. "I never stopped thinking about you either. I survived because I had to. And now I am here, for you and your people." A tense silence followed. The guards and advisors watched closely. Some whispered that humans were unpredictable, that they could not be trusted. Alex ignored the murmurs. He focused only on the queen. Lyra stepped closer, her voice firmer. "You have returned at a difficult time. Threats are still near our borders. I need someone I can trust, someone who acts without fear." Alex nodded. "Then, I will help. Whatever is needed." One of the senior advisors, a tall alien with silver armor, stepped forward. "Your Highness, we cannot blindly trust a human, even one who saved your life years ago. He may have hidden motives. The Empire must be careful." Lyra met his gaze evenly. "I am the queen. I judge actions, not appearances. If he chooses to act with honor, he has my trust. If not, then he will face consequences like any of us." Alex did not speak, but he understood. This was not just about him. It was about proving that humans could be allies, that courage and loyalty mattered more than fear or prejudice. They entered the palace, and Lyra led Alex through the halls. Many soldiers and servants stopped to stare. Whispers spread. "It is him, the human who saved the queen." Others looked suspicious. Lyra ignored it. She focused only on Alex and the task ahead. Once inside, they reached the council chamber. Advisors had gathered, including generals and diplomats. Lyra addressed them all. "This is Alex. He has proven his courage in the past, and he has returned to help us. I expect respect." Some nodded reluctantly. Others muttered, unconvinced. One older general spoke sharply. "Your Highness, with all due respect, he is human. We cannot rely on him for strategy or battle. He may be skilled, but the galaxy has changed. His loyalty is unknown." Lyra's eyes burned with determination. "Loyalty is shown in action. He will prove himself. If he chooses not to, then we will see. But do not underestimate him. He saved my life once. He can do it again." Alex stood silently, feeling the weight of judgment. He had faced enemies for years, fought in countless battles, and risked his life countless times. Yet this was different. This was not a fight with weapons. It was a test of trust, of character, before an entire empire. He nodded slightly. "I understand," he said. "I will earn your trust through action." The chamber agreed to a plan to secure the border systems. Intelligence had reported increased enemy activity near key trading routes. Lyra assigned Alex to lead a small, elite team to observe and defend one of the most vulnerable worlds. Some council members protested. "He is human. He cannot lead our soldiers," one said. Lyra silenced them with a look. The next day, Alex left with a team of alien soldiers, moving quickly through space. The planet they were assigned to was under threat from raiders, and the local population was terrified. Alex coordinated with local defense units, teaching them tactics and sharing strategies. Some soldiers doubted his instructions at first, but when he demonstrated precise combat maneuvers, they followed without question. The first skirmish came suddenly. Raider ships swooped down, firing plasma beams at settlements. Alex stayed calm, directing soldiers to protect civilians and set up barriers. His focus and quick decisions saved many lives. When one raider tried to land troops in the city center, Alex confronted them directly, using his agility and skill to disable their weapons. The alien soldiers watched in awe. After the battle, the local governor approached Alex. "You are remarkable. We did not expect a human to have such skill." Alex shook his head. "Skill is nothing without purpose. We fight to protect others, not for glory." Word of his deeds spread quickly. Soldiers who had doubted him now respected him. Civilians whispered his name, recalling tales of bravery and calm in the face of danger. Queen Lyra received reports of his actions, her heart swelling with pride. She knew he had not changed. He was the same human who risked everything for her 5 years ago. During a quiet moment, Alex received a message from the Queen. It was short, simple, and filled with meaning. "I trust you." He read it and felt a deep sense of purpose. He realized that he had returned not just for himself, but to show that humans could act with honor and courage, even among a species that often doubted them. The bond between him and Lyra had not faded. It was stronger than ever, built on shared experiences of fear, courage, and survival. As he prepared for the next wave of attacks, Alex thought about the Empire and its people. He understood that trust was earned, not given. He understood that fear and prejudice existed, even among the bravest. Yet he also understood that actions spoke louder than words. He would fight, he would lead, and he would protect, not for reward, not for recognition, but because it was right. The next battle came swiftly. A larger enemy force attacked the planet, more powerful than before. Alex coordinated defenses, moving quickly among the soldiers, giving orders, and fighting alongside them. Alien and human soldiers worked together, learning from each other. Alex's calm presence inspired confidence. Civilians were evacuated efficiently, and casualties were minimized. By the end of the day, the enemy retreated, surprised by the coordinated defense. Back at the palace, Queen Lyra received word of the victory. She felt a mix of relief and admiration. She knew the Empire's trust in Alex was growing. She also knew that the bond between them was no longer just about gratitude. It was about respect, understanding, and shared purpose. That night, Alex looked at the stars from the planet's surface. He thought about the journey that had brought him here, the years of struggle, the moments of fear and hope. He remembered the Queen, the palace, and the promise he had made to protect her. He realized that survival was not enough. He wanted to make a difference, to show that humans could act with honor, courage, and selflessness. Queen Lyra, in her chambers, watched the stars as well. She thought about the human who had returned, the calm presence that had inspired her soldiers and civilians alike. She remembered the day he stayed behind, and now she saw that his courage had not faded. She knew that together, they could face the challenges ahead, and perhaps, slowly, the Empire could learn to see humans not as weak or unpredictable, but as allies capable of bravery and loyalty. Part 3 ends with Alex proving his skill and courage, earning the respect of alien soldiers, and solidifying his bond with Queen Lyra, while the Empire begins to see that humans can be trusted and valued. The stage is set for deeper challenges, testing trust, loyalty, and courage in the next chapters. The galaxy was not quiet for long. After Alex's arrival and his first victories, reports of a new enemy threat began to reach Queen Lyra. These were not the small raiders or mercenaries they had faced before. This force was organized, ruthless, and powerful. Entire systems were being attacked, colonies destroyed, and trade routes blocked. Lyra realized that the Empire was facing a danger far greater than anything in recent memory. She called an emergency council meeting. Alien generals, diplomats, and advisors gathered in the Grand Chamber. The air was tense. Some feared the enemy could overwhelm even their strongest fleets. Lyra spoke firmly. "We have faced hardship before. We survived. We will survive again. But, this time, we need to act quickly and decisively." One senior advisor raised a concern. "Your Highness, with all due respect, even our combined fleets may not be enough. Perhaps we should evacuate key worlds and retreat until we understand the enemy." Lyra shook her head. "Evacuation is not enough. We cannot abandon our people. We fight. And we fight together." She turned to Alex. "You have seen combat among humans and aliens alike. I want you to lead a special strike team. You will protect vulnerable worlds and help coordinate defense." Alex nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. He had survived countless battles before, but now it was different. He was trusted not just by her, but by the Empire itself. He had to prove humans could act with courage, intelligence, and loyalty. even in the face of overwhelming danger. He assembled a small team, including Ben and Claire, along with elite alien soldiers who had fought alongside him before. Their mission was to respond quickly to enemy attacks, protect civilians, and gather intelligence. Alex made sure everyone understood their goal: protect lives first, fight strategically second, and never lose hope. Their first assignment came swiftly. A border world, Jorith, was under siege by heavily armed enemy ships. Civilian populations were trapped in cities as plasma beams cut through buildings. Alex's team arrived just in time. They deployed shields, evacuated civilians, and set up barricades. His calm leadership inspired the soldiers. They moved quickly, following his commands without hesitation. The battle was intense. Enemy ships fired relentlessly, trying to break through the defenses. Alex moved among his team, coordinating attacks, repairing damaged equipment, and giving encouragement. When a group of enemy troops tried to land in the city, he confronted them directly. His blaster fired steadily, disabling their weapons. Alien soldiers beside him adapted quickly, learning from his tactics. After hours of fighting, the enemy retreated. Casualties were minimal thanks to Alex's strategic thinking. Civilians were safe. The alien soldiers began to trust him more, recognizing his courage and intelligence. News of the victory reached Queen Lyra, who felt relief and pride. She knew Alex had not only protected the people, but also shown that humans could be trusted allies. The council, however, was divided. Some still questioned the human's role. "He is effective," one general said reluctantly. "But can we rely on a human in larger battles? What if he fails when it matters most?" Lyra's response was firm. "He has proven himself. We will not judge him by fear or prejudice. He fights for others, not for glory. That is what matters." As they prepared for the next wave of attacks, Alex received intelligence about enemy movements. The new threat was moving toward several critical systems simultaneously. It was a coordinated strategy designed to divide the Empire's forces. Alex knew they had to act quickly. He devised a plan to defend multiple worlds using smaller, mobile teams rather than large fleets. The idea was risky, but it leveraged speed, coordination, and clever tactics, qualities humans excelled at. He briefed his team. "We cannot face them head-on with all our forces. We must be smart. Protect civilians first. Hit the enemy where they are weakest. And stay together. Trust each other. We can win this." Ben looked worried. "This is dangerous. Too many could be lost." Alex shook his head. "We do what we must. We fight for those who cannot. Fear is not an option." Claire placed a hand on his shoulder. "I trust you." "We all do." Over the next few days, Alex's teams moved from world to world, intercepting enemy attacks, evacuating civilians, and defending key locations. His calm presence, quick thinking, and bravery inspired not only his team, but also the local defenders. Each victory, small or large, showed that humans could be trusted and respected. Back at the palace, Lyra monitored every engagement. She communicated with Alex frequently, offering support and advice. Their bond grew stronger, built on mutual respect, shared danger, and understanding. She had never forgotten him, and now she saw firsthand that his courage had endured, that his promise had not faded. But the enemy was clever. They adapted to Alex's tactics, sending decoys, traps, and misinformation. During one attack, a civilian convoy was trapped in a canyon while enemy forces surrounded them. Alex and his team arrived just in time, but the situation was critical. He made a split-second decision. "We divide the enemy. Ben, Claire, take the left flank. I will go right. Move fast and stay in contact." The plan worked, but not without cost. Several alien soldiers were injured, and the convoy sustained minor damage. Alex's team stayed calm, focusing on saving lives and minimizing casualties. After the battle, he tended to the wounded, giving orders for medical teams and ensuring civilians were safe. His actions impressed even the most skeptical generals, who began to see that trust could be earned through deeds, not words. During one quiet night on a defensive outpost, Alex reflected on the events. 5 years had passed since he stayed behind to save Queen Lyra. He had faced countless dangers, helped many, and survived. Yet he knew the greatest challenge was not just fighting enemies. It was proving that humans could be reliable allies in a galaxy that often feared or doubted them. He received a message from Lyra. It was short, as always, but filled with meaning. Your courage inspires many. Never forget why you fight. The Empire sees your actions, not your origin. Alex smiled quietly. He understood. It was not enough to survive. He had to lead, protect, and show that humanity had value in this galaxy. The next attack came unexpectedly. A massive fleet appeared near a border system, larger than any Alex had seen. Scouts reported that the enemy intended to strike the capital directly, testing the Empire's defenses while spreading chaos across multiple worlds. The Council was alarmed. Many suggested evacuation, but Lyra refused. We will not abandon our people, she said. We fight, and we fight together. Alex coordinated with the Empire's fleets, giving advice, sharing strategies, and leading strike teams. His knowledge of human tactics, flexibility, improvisation, and quick decision-making proved invaluable. Alien commanders who had doubted him now followed his lead, realizing that courage and intelligence mattered more than origin. The battle was intense. Explosions lit the sky, ships collided, and plasma beams cut through the darkness. Alex moved among the frontline units, calm and focused, giving orders and inspiring confidence. Civilians were evacuated efficiently, and casualties were kept to a minimum. By the end of the day, the enemy was forced to retreat, surprised by the coordinated response and human ingenuity. Back at the palace, Queen Lyra watched the reports. She felt a deep sense of relief and pride. Alex had not only saved lives, but had also strengthened the Empire's faith in humans. She knew the journey was far from over, but she also knew that with him by her side, they could face whatever came next. After the battle, Alex met with Lyra privately. It is not over, he said. The enemy will return. They will find new ways to attack. Lyra nodded. I know. But now we have hope. Now we have proof that humans can be trusted, that courage is not limited by species. You have shown them all that, Alex. And you have shown me that loyalty and bravery endure. Alex looked at her quietly. I did what I had to. I would do it again. For you. For your people. For what is right. Their bond, tested by time and battle, had grown stronger. Both understood that the challenges ahead would be difficult, but they were ready. Alex had proven himself not only as a fighter but as a symbol of trust, courage, and loyalty. Queen Lyra knew that with him beside her, the Empire could face even the darkest threats. Part 4 ends with Alex and Queen Lyra facing a new, powerful enemy, their bond stronger than ever, and the Empire beginning to see humans as trusted allies. The stage is set for the final confrontation and the resolution of loyalty, courage, and recognition in Part 5. The enemy fleet was larger than anyone had expected. Reports showed hundreds of ships, armed with the latest technology, moving quickly toward the capital system. Queen Lyra stood on the palace balcony, looking out at the approaching threat. Her heart was steady, but her mind raced with strategy. She had faced danger before, but this was the largest attack the Empire had seen in decades. Alex stood beside her, calm and focused. He had spent years surviving, fighting, and leading others. Yet even he understood the scale of the challenge ahead. We need to coordinate all fleets, he said. We cannot face them one by one. We need to act together, and we need to be smart. The Empire depends on it, Lyra nodded. Then we fight together. Humans and aliens. All of us. Preparations began immediately. Fleets moved into defensive positions, starports launched strike ships, and transport vessels evacuated civilians to secure planets. Alex led a team of elite soldiers and strategists, working closely with alien commanders. His years of experience in unconventional combat proved invaluable. He taught the alien forces to adapt quickly, use the terrain of space, and anticipate enemy maneuvers. Many of the generals who had doubted him before now followed his lead without question. The first clash happened near the outer planets of the system. Enemy ships attacked quickly, trying to bypass defenses and reach the capital. Alex coordinated the defense, positioning ships in a way that forced the enemy into narrow corridors where their numbers were less effective. Alien pilots marveled at his tactical mind. Even the youngest soldiers followed his orders without hesitation. During the battle, a group of enemy ships broke through and attempted to land troops on a key city. Alex and his team responded immediately. They moved to the surface, using transport pods to deploy quickly. Civilians ran in panic, but Alex stayed calm, directing them to safe zones while setting up barricades. His human instincts combined with years of experience made him both a protector and a leader. The fighting was intense. Plasma beams cut through the air, buildings shook, and fires burned across the city. Alex moved through the chaos, giving orders and helping where he could. He rescued trapped civilians, guided alien soldiers, and fought directly when necessary. His courage inspired everyone around him. Soldiers who had once doubted him now saw the truth. Humans could be brave, reliable, and decisive. Back at the palace, Lyra monitored the battle through communications and visual feeds. She watched Alex move calmly among chaos, saving lives and directing defenses. Her heart swelled with pride and relief. She realized that the human who had saved her 5 years ago had returned not just to protect her, but to show the Empire what courage and loyalty truly meant. The enemy fleet adapted, sending larger groups of ships to overwhelm defenses. Alex anticipated their movements, dividing his forces strategically and using speed and precision to counter attacks. Alien and human forces worked together seamlessly, inspired by his leadership. Each victory, each small success, strengthened the defenders' morale and weakened the enemy's confidence. During a critical moment, an enemy cruiser targeted the palace directly. Shields flickered under heavy fire. Lyra remained composed, coordinating defenses with her commanders. Alex received the signal and acted immediately. He led a strike team in a small, fast ship to intercept the cruiser. Maneuvering through debris and fire, they attacked the enemy ship from multiple angles. Alex's tactical thinking and calm under pressure allowed them to disable the cruiser before it reached the palace. Civilians were safe, and the morale of the Empire's forces soared. After the battle, Lyra met with Alex privately. "You have done more than I could have imagined," she said quietly. "You saved lives, inspired soldiers, and proved that humans can be trusted." Alex shook his head. "I did what anyone should do. Courage is not about species. It is about choice. I fight because it is right. I protect because it is right." She smiled, a mix of relief and admiration in her eyes. "Then, the Empire is lucky to have you. I am lucky to have you. 5 years ago, you risked everything for me. Now you have risked everything for all of us." The final wave of the enemy approached. It was the largest and most coordinated attack yet. Fleets clashed in space, while strike teams defended planets and civilians. Alex and his team moved rapidly, responding to threats, rescuing civilians, and coordinating defenses. His calm presence kept soldiers focused, and his bravery inspired confidence. Alien commanders who had once doubted him now relied on his judgment. At a critical moment, a group of enemy ships attempted a direct strike on the palace. Alex and a team of elite soldiers boarded intercept ships and engaged the enemy in a fierce battle. Plasma beams lit the sky, and explosions rocked the ships. Alex remained calm, guiding his team with clear orders and quick decisions. Several enemy ships were destroyed, and the palace defenses held. Meanwhile, Lyra organized the defense from the palace command center. She coordinated fleets, gave orders, and encouraged civilians. She thought about the human who had returned, the bravery and loyalty he had shown, and the lessons he had taught the Empire. She realized that courage, loyalty, and selflessness were not limited to any one species. They were choices, and Alex had chosen them every day. As the enemy began to retreat, the galaxy watched in awe. Reports of Alex's actions spread quickly. Civilians, soldiers, and leaders across multiple systems spoke of the human who fought bravely, led decisively, and inspired hope. He had not sought glory, but the galaxy recognized it nonetheless. Back at the palace, Lyra greeted Alex. "The Empire owes you more than words can say," she said. "But I also owe you personally. You saved my life once, and you have saved countless others now. You have my trust, my respect, and my gratitude. Alex smiled quietly. I do not seek reward. I only do what is right. Protecting life, standing for what is right, that is enough for me. They walked through the palace gardens together, quiet and reflective. The stars above shone brightly, and the Empire was safe once more. Lyra knew that the galaxy would never forget this day, and she knew that humans, once doubted and underestimated, could act with courage and honor. Alex looked at the palace, the rebuilt city, and the people around him. He thought about the journey that had brought him here, the collapse of the palace, the years of survival, the battles fought, and the people saved. He realized that survival was not enough. Making a difference, showing courage, and keeping promises mattered more. The final days of the conflict brought peace to the border systems. Trade routes reopened, colonies rebuilt, and refugees returned home. The Empire recognized the human contribution, and Alex's actions became a symbol of trust and courage. Young soldiers and civilians alike told stories of the human who risked everything without hesitation, inspiring future generations. Queen Lyra and Alex stood together on the balcony one evening, watching the stars. She turned to him. 5 years ago, you risked everything for me. Now, you have risked everything for the Empire. What will you do next? Alex looked at the stars, thoughtful. I will continue to help where I can. I will protect those who cannot protect themselves. I will do what is right, not for reward, but because it is right. Lyra smiled. Then, the Empire is lucky to have you, and I am lucky to know you. They stood together in silence, the bond between them stronger than ever. The Empire had survived. The galaxy had seen the courage of one human, and Queen Lyra had witnessed loyalty and bravery that transcended species. Alex had returned not for glory or recognition, but to fulfill a promise and protect life. His actions had changed the way the Empire saw humans and had strengthened the bonds between worlds. In the quiet of the night, Alex walked through the palace gardens. The soft wind brushed his face, and the stars shone above. He thought about the journey that had brought him here, the people he had helped, and the queen he had saved. He knew challenges would come again, but he was ready. He had learned that courage, loyalty, and action were more important than fear or prejudice. Queen Lyra watched him from a distance. She knew she would never forget the human who had vanished and returned, the one who had risked everything without hesitation. His presence was a reminder that true courage and loyalty endure, that actions matter more than appearances, and that bonds formed in danger can last a lifetime. The galaxy had changed, slowly but surely. Humans were no longer seen as weak or unpredictable. They were recognized as capable, brave, and loyal. Alex had shown that one human could make a difference, not for glory, but for what was right. The Empire had survived because of courage, trust, and determination. As the stars glittered above, Queen Lyra whispered to herself, "He kept his promise. He returned, and I will never forget him." Alex, standing nearby, looked at the horizon and thought the same. 5 years ago, he had risked everything to save her. Now, he had risked everything to save the Empire. He had fulfilled his promise, proven his courage, and inspired hope. The galaxy was safer, and the bond between human and alien would endure for generations. Part 5 ends with victory, recognition, and the lasting legacy of Alex's courage and loyalty. Queen Lyra and Alex have strengthened trust between humans and aliens, saved countless lives, and proven that actions and choices define true heroes. The story closes with hope, peace, and the enduring bond of respect and gratitude between them.